Sit down. Why are you on strong? Can't you read, my guy? Strap yourself. Chicken. It's rice first. It's two rice, then one chicken. Open your mouth properly.
Yeah, hello? Can you hear me? Yes, you can go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
You can go ahead.
Okay. Hi, shall we supposed to start?
Yes, please. Let's go ahead. I did a brief introduction, but I don't think you heard me, or anybody heard me. But really, this is Hiller's Global Talent. It's our third day in this residency program, and we have a wonderful speaker who's going to tell us about using remote tools and demo a few tools as well. So, and this session will be recorded and sent out. So, hopefully we have more people join us, but otherwise just talk like you're talking to a crowd. So yeah, have a good one.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, so I confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. All right, thank you. So it's nice meeting every one of you, and thank you for having me here. So my name is Deborah, and I'm excited to guide you through the tools, the systems, and the best practices that can also transform your remote workflow from schedule to seamless. And this is much open to everyone, whether you are a freelancer, you are just building a startup. So everybody, every creative actually needs a remote to thrive. So that being said, the topic, as we already know, is remote ready, the tools that power creative collaboration. So, what are we going to cover in this session? So, we would explore what it really means to, be remote ready, the four pillars of creative remote collaboration, how to pick the right tools and use them well, and also walk through of tools like Trello, ClickUp. So I'm mentioning tools that are very, very familiar and common within the remote space. For somebody that has also been working remotely for the past 4 years. Yeah, so these are like tools I've also used. And at one point, we just get to, adopt one tool, research. Yeah. So Trello, ClickUp, Slack, Loom, Google Meet, Calendly, Google Appointment. I think Google Appointment is one of the recent one. Yeah, just to make, life very seamless for those working remotely. So if at any point you stop hearing me, please let me know. If at any point you have a question, we'll get to Q&A. Yeah, but if at any point you stop hearing me, please just let me know. So welcome once again, everyone. So first, I want to, I'm walking you through what it means to be remote ready, right? People say, oh, they want to work remotely. Are you remote ready? Some companies, some organization want to run remote organizations. And the question is, are they remote ready? Oh, it's cheap, it's cheaper than paying rent. Yeah, everybody work remotely. Are you remote ready? Do you have what it takes for your team to be organized, working remotely, and yet you still have what the job being delivered, you're still delivering impact? So what does it mean to be remote ready? Being remote ready means having the systems, mindset, and the tools in place to lead, deliver, and collaborate from anywhere without sacrificing clarity or creativity. A lot of the times, many founders will tell you, oh, working remotely won't work. But for somebody who has managed a very large team across different continents and working remotely, and yet results were provided, working remotely works. You just need to be remote ready. It is the ability to maintain the momentum without micromanagement. Yeah, because working remotely makes micromanagement difficult. So without micromanagement, communicate effectively, even when asynchronous, and build structured workflows that support productivity rather than stifle it. So the tools that you would be adopting, while working remotely, it has to be something that supports productivity, not stifle it. So remote readiness is not just about working from a distance. It is about working with purpose, process, and intention. And you don't just work with purpose and intention without having the right tool. So why is it important for you to be remote ready? It is because creative work needs visibility and flow. Disconnection happens when system breaks down. Working remotely, you can succeed, have very high productivity. At the same time, you can have low productivity. It depends on how ready you are. And also, the system might be in place. It also depends on how well you can use the system. So tools create writing and reduce friction. Remote writing is no longer optional, it is expected. And the funny thing is, even for those people working on site, recently they're already picking up remote tools. So, sorry, what are the 4 pillars of remote collaboration? Number one, we have communication, we have collaboration, we have scheduling, and we also have execution. So, and that's because you need clear communication, you need to update there's also the need for human feel, human touch. And I would also list out the tools that you tend to use for communication. Then for collaboration, shared visibility, contribution, scheduling, also your time autonomy, how transparent are you with time? Exactly, these are the things that you need for you to be remote ready. So these are the 4 pillars of remote collaboration. And what are the tools that work for each of those pillars? Under communication, we have Slack, we have Google Meet, we have Loom, we have Microsoft Teams. Then we have, under collaboration, we have Trello, we have ClickUp, we have Miro, we have Notion. For a lot of you, when it comes to collaboration, you think these are tools used by only project managers for development to teams. No, these are tools that are used across the entire organization. If you're working remotely, you're not using a ClickUp dashboard or you're not using a Trello, you're bound to fail. Because how do you even track distance? So, for you to avoid failure and for you to be ready, you need to have these tools in place. Then we also have Calendly. We have the Google Appointment. Google Appointment was, added recently, whereby you can create a public from your Google Calendar. You can create a public booking appointment link, and people can actually, both internal and external parties can actually book from you, book your calendar. Then there's also the execution, where we have, in as much as Trello is also used for collaboration, it's also used it's an execution tool where we also have Google Workspace, Microsoft Office. So let's explore the tools that power creative collaboration. So you see the Slack, you see Google Meet, you see Loom. So what do? They give you real-time and async team communication across time zones. Then for scheduling, you schedule with calendar, you schedule with Google appointment scheduler as well. There are also other tools like Zoho Bookings, scheduler as well. So for self booking, availability, transparency, and meeting flow. So for most people working remotely, or if you want to work remotely, or you want to thrive in a remote environment, you tend to notice, oh, you cannot just go and ask people, oh, are you available? What's your availability? Running email thread to know how someone's availability. All you just need is go to that person's calendar or go to the person's calendar schedule, and then you can see when this person is free, the time frame, and every other thing. Then for collaboration, we have ClickUp, we have Trello. So for ClickUp itself and Trello, they are visual project management tools. They are mainly used for brainstorming and also shared execution. So what does execution do? So we have the Google Workspace. We also have Microsoft Office. So within this suite, you're creating, you're editing, you're finalizing, you're finalizing deliverables, and you're also working inside repeatable systems. And there is no how you want to thrive as an organization that is working remotely without utilizing either Teams, that the Microsoft Office, or at least the Google Workspace. It brings collaboration together. It brings the entire office together, where you see everything that is ongoing in an organization all in a particular workspace. Well, there are other thriving tools, but then these are the most sustainable so far that you also need to, learn how to use. So I will go over Calendly once more, right? And I would also be sharing my screen. So you also see how Calendly works. So this dashboard is a typical availability overview of how a Calendly should work in somebody's um in your dashboard. So what does it do? It is ideal for external bookings and professional scheduling. So it allows you create multiple event types from, and also you can also choose your time frame. That's 15 minutes, 30 minutes, etc. It can also sync with Google Outlook, iCloud, and name it, a lot of systems. It allows branding, and okay, that's the major difference between Calendly and Google appointments scheduler. So with Calendly, you can also do your branding, your custom forms, your buffers, reminders, and every other thing. It is also great for client meetings, interviews, coaching sessions. So the next I would also be talking about is the Google appointment, right? It is this is a typical dashboard of what your Google appointment is. It's pretty much easy, right? I think I would have to share my entire screen so we could go over that together. Um, Yeah. So it is built into the Google Calendar. You just need to go to your Google Calendar, and then you click create a booking schedule. So it works for both internal and external bookings. So it's simple to set up. There's no custom branding, limited form options. So it is, but then it is best for quick scheduling with Google users. So I would be sharing my screen to take you to a different workspace where I would also walk you through this. Okay, so let's do this together. So, but before we go into the demo part of it, does anybody have any question, or you have something you also want to contribute to the session? Yeah, does anybody have any question?
Um, I'll be monitoring the chat just in case anybody does, but everything sounds clear so far.
Okay, all right. So please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, interesting. So first, let's go to Google appointment. So this is what your typical Google calendar looks like. So I'm going to delete this. Yeah. So I would you can do this from scratch. Okay. Okay. So this is what your typical Google calendar looks like. And then Google made it easy. Oh, you don't have to go to a different platform for people to be able to like book appointment with you. So what do? You go to this place. So it tells you you can create an event, which is a normal meeting task, and then now you can create your appointment schedule. Right. So what do I title this appointment schedule? I title it Meet with Deborah. Or if I have a particular purpose, let's say for instance, coach with Deborah. So I can do my appointment duration within 15, 13. Okay, I'll leave it at 1 hour. So what are my availability? I'm not available on Sunday. I'm not available on Saturday. So you can easily, have your, custom availability. So what time? Oh, 9 a.m. No, it's not a free time for me. So for coaching sessions, I'm available 12 p.m. from 12 p.m. to 5 every day. So you can make this custom. Okay, and also you can also select how you want to meet for coaching sessions. So for my coaching sessions, I want to have a Google Meet call. I want to have an in-person. I want to make this a phone call. Exactly. So I can decide, okay, I want strictly Google Meet conferencing call and all. Then booking form, the person's first name, surname, email address, all required. If I want to add a custom item, I can add an item. So what do I want to add? Okay, phone number, yeah, required, add item. So this makes things easy for you. So payments are not required, blah, blah, blah for this, or collect advance payment through Stripe. You can also integrate your Stripe, but this is when you have a premium Google workspace, you can integrate Stripe and all, right? So booking confirmation, yeah, you can also click for that. That's by default. So now I've done this has been saved, and I can also I can share my booking with anybody. So if you want to meet with me, all you just need to do is so let's do this. um okay, I want to be able to, so I'll drop the link here. I'm dropping the link here. Anybody can try it out, and you'd be able to like book a session with me. So this is this on Google Calendar. So I don't know if anybody has actually used Google Calendar for, aside, I know a lot of you use Calendly, but has anybody used Google Calendar before? Hello, are you there?
Yes, I have. I'm familiar with Google Calendar.
Okay. So, okay, David, since this is your first time, so it's also something you can easily just do from, and you can also integrate your, it is mostly for those people doing consulting. So this is also really, really good for you as well. Integrate your Stripe and all to this. So let's go to Calendly itself, which is, popular among every one of us, right? So still same process. What do? You can create one-on-one group, multiple invites and all. So this is for events. So then this is for like your availability as well. I think I've already, created this, and I can decide to edit, blah 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 and all. So still same process. And this is also linked to my Google Calendar. This is linked to my Google Calendar. So I can also share this as well. Hmm. So there are days where you want to edit this, you want to blur it out, you want to also block it. You can easily edit and you can share with everyone. So very much similar. So it depends on what you are very much comfortable with working. Yeah, so the next I will be talking about is Slack. So everybody pretty much knows how Slack actually works. And so the visual representation should be able to help us understand how Slack works. So whereby you have teams and also you have different channels. You could also create your private channels and every other thing on Slack. So there could also be, you can also link Slack to your GitHub. You can link it to your Zapier, and it is also very good for like organizations, because when Slack is linked to your GitHub, you tend to see who is committing each code every day. You get a notification on Slack. And also, depending on the subscription you have, you can also you can have external parties also come on your Slack group. So Slack is a central hub for team communication, real-time or async, organized by channels for teams, projects, or topics. Then it reduces long email threads and improves visibility because it gives you real-time updates, real-time information. It is great for remote collaboration, updates, and quick decisions. So it supports file sharing, voice note, video clips, integration. I earlier mentioned the integration of GitHub. You could also integrate it with your Google Drive, your Trello, your Zapier. So Slack is a very, very important tool. It's also free to use. So except you're trying to use like other the premium version of it, where you want chats to last more than 3 months and all, then you can pay for it. So the dashboard you're seeing here, you can see how you can see channels, design team, HubSpot, social media. You can see the group chat, meeting shared and all. So this is how Slack basically works. Mm.
Um, I have a question about Slack.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I know you mentioned, you have different channels, and how does, for someone who is trying to get a freelance role or otherwise with a company, who's trying to work remotely, is Slack, are they expected to know Slack, or is there any special skill related to it before you can list it on your resume, or can they go ahead and list it at once even without knowledge of it?
Okay. So, for most freelancers, to be clear, for most freelancers or for most persons, right, if you're going to be getting a job in a remote organization, or you want to get a remote job, that they want to understand the communication tools you've used, right? So the knowledge of, because it's pretty much self-explanatory on how to use it, right? But then Slack goes beyond having to just use it as a platform for chatting or for communication. It's because it gives real-time update through the integrations that are done with it. So organizations want to know if you've actually used such communication tools. So yes, it's a thing to actually put on your resume as a communication tool or even a collaboration tool you have also used.
All right. Yeah, that answers my question. But also, with do you find Slack to be one of the top tools? So, would me listing Slack as one of the tools I've used, would that translate to other? Because there's so many tools nowadays, and you're not even sure what tools the company you're trying to apply to is using. So, do you think Slack ranks well as one to add? Because you have a limited space on your resume, right? You don't want to list everything you know.
Like I said, it depends on your profile and it also depends on your career path. So if I'm a software developer, I don't think Slack is a primary skill for me to list on my resume as, oh, I have, yeah.
That that's helpful.
Because because as your recruiter wants to see things that directly affects or directly concerns what is required of you to, deliver your job role. Slack is a generic tool for you to be remote ready if you're having a remote setup. Yeah. But then also, except maybe you've built similar platforms like Slack, maybe communication tools, productivity tools, and then you want to mention those. Yeah, but then there are ways to like mention, okay, you did this with this XYZ and all. So, but if I'm a project manager, um, my recruiter also wants to see the collaboration tool I use. Yeah, so it depends. So if you're a software developer, it's not a top priority tool that should, you know, you should boast of. Yeah, but it is also a necessary tool for you to be remote ready. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yes, yes, that makes sense.
All right.
Thank you.
So, yeah, so also for you to be remote ready, beyond Google Meet, there are other platforms such as Zoho Meet as well. There are others like Teams. Yeah, so these are mainly browser-based video calls, no downloads required, so integrated directly with Google Calendar for easy scheduling. Also, your Google Calendar can also be linked to your Calendly as well. Then it is great for team check-in, client meetings, interviews, and when you talk about being remote ready, what makes being remote ready really important is the fact that there is the human touch, there is the human feel, regardless of the distance, in the sense that you want an organization that is borderless. So borderless, I mean by borders. That's BORDERS. You want an organization that is borderless, right? And that is why for most remote organization, turning on your video is a must because this is the only time we get to see your flow, we get to see your reaction. And that is why sometimes you will work with a particular client for those that are freelancers or for those that are working in a remote organization or even for those that are founders of remote teams. You work with remote teams for like 3 years, 5 years, and it feels like you're working with family. And that's because you see each other without really seeing each other. I don't know if you get that. So, Google Meet is really an important tool, right? Because it gives the actual human touch, the human feel that people will say, oh, I don't want to work remotely because I want to meet with people. And the good thing now is it has also include, Gemini AI, where it allows for summaries, notes, follow-ups, making life easy for us. Then there's the Microsoft Teams, there is Zoom, and the rest of them. So then now this brings me down to ClickUp. For me as a person, right, I enjoy using Trello, but then also ClickUp is very, 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 very important, most especially when you're dealing with, multiple projects. You have different projects in one particular organization or different department. So ClickUp allows you like manage, you can actually walk through different projects. So it allows you manage different teams. Let's take for instance, it allows you manage from development to marketing to product teams, and also same way every other project management tool works. It does allow whereby you have you can detect issues, you can also detect what's on, you can move tags to what's in view, you can move tags to what is done, so in form of issues found, review, ready, and all. You can also assign. And the good thing about ClickUp is you also tend to like see the different happenings across different organizations. So it's a it's a project management tool for tasks, docs, and timelines. So where you could also see the due date, the stage, the priority, if it is high priority, low priority, and all. So it is ideal for teams managing complex workflows of multiple projects. It also supports task dependencies, priorities, goals, and reminders as well. So one thing we click up is once you set a due date and then towards that due date, this is not achieved, you also tend to also get reminders. It does include docs, whiteboard. You can also comment, and you can integrate your ClickUp with Slack, your Google Drive, your Zoom, and lots of other platforms that also makes work really, really easy. So I don't know if any, and also I want to also correct the impression that project management tools are mainly used for software development teams. It is not. It is used for all team. Whether you are in HR, you're in products, you're in marketing, this is something you can already adopt. And also, if you're a freelancer working remotely for a client, this is also something you can actually adopt for your different clients. Assign the tags that needs to be assigned, mark the one that is done, let your clients know, okay, this is already done. So the essence of this workshop or this webinar is mainly to actually address being remote ready, not just for organizations, but for also for individuals as well. All right. So we'll go to the next. I think this is my favorite project management tool, probably because I just love the UI, right? Or maybe because it is colorful. Yeah, so it's like my favorite, and it's also very much easy to use, less complex and all. So this is Trello. Yeah, so it's uses drag and drop where you can easily move one card to the other. I can easily just move a card from backlog, I move it to in progress, I can move it to review, I can move it to done. And then you can also create your own custom you can create your custom progress as well on Trello. And it is not just used by developers once again, it is used by the entire team, HR, everybody can actually use it. So for some persons, ClickUp might be, complex, not less understanding for you. Yeah, but then having to use Trello makes it really, really much easy. It's a self-explanatory. And it does have its own due date. You can even assign to multiple persons. Yeah. It also does support file attachment, whereby you can also attach different files to a particular issue, comments, due dates, integrations. You also integrate it with your Google Drive, Slack. So once a particular task is done and there's a file attached to it, it is done, and then you save in your drive. So it is, while ClickUp is much more complex, used for multiple projects. So Trello is used for simple workflows, checklists, team visibility, organize tasks into lists. Like I said, you can create your own custom list on Trello. It's my favorite app to use, project management tool to use, and that's because it's not using the buzzword. It's using a more generic task management, list that resonates more with everyone, and probably because of its beautiful UI. So, now, having walk through the different tools I've mentioned. So there are 5 workflow rules I live by, right? Which is number 1, don't over tool. Go deep, not wide. You might be using a particular software and you'd say, oh, I want to try this because of one certain feature. You understand? And have you ever asked yourself, have I really gone deep into this? Some of you have been using Google Workspace for a very long time, but then have you actually explored the different applications under your Google Workspace? Please confirm you can still hear me and I'm still with everyone.
I can hear you.
All right, thank you. So you've been using Google Workspace, you've been using Teams, you've been using, some of us have even used Trello, some of us have used Slack. Okay, most really those of us that use Slack. And all you know is Slack is used for communication. And then you want to go and get other tools for your integrations and every other thing. Have you actually gone deep into the tools you've used? Don't overtool. You can use a particular tool, go deep, and also when you're using a tool, update yourself with, upcoming features that these tools would likely, add to their platform. That's where you utilize a particular tool to its fullest. Communicate before confusion happens. So, whenever I have to onboard team members, or whenever I even have to, deal with clients that I consult with, I tell them something. Communication is key. When you communicate, there are less confusion. Every single update is important for you to be remote ready. You're not able to deliver a task ahead of time. Oh, dear client, I'm unable to deliver. I will deliver XYZ time. Very important. And make sure you also keep to that. Then repeat what works with templates. So you don't have to create a new structure for everything. What template does it makes life easier for us. I also used to tell anybody I'm also working with, even with social media managers, I tell them, do you have reusable templates? Are your content built in such a way that it can accommodate reusable templates? That way we can automate designs. We can automate other processes and you can focus on other things. Then replace urgency with structure. If you have a proper structure, you have the proper tool that you're using, you will actually realize there are less need for urgency because everything is structured and things would already go as planned. Then it is important for you to review your workflow monthly. For those of you that run organizations, if you're here and you think what your HR does for you is just to, organize parties, on board, off board, and recruit, your HR is responsible for reviewing your workflow alongside with the management. Yes. It's not just, the employee engagement part, there's the digital transformation part, because these are tools that enable remote teams to be ready. Also, as a freelancer, are you reviewing the workflow you're using? If you don't know what workflow you currently have, get consultants that can actually, walk you through. Review monthly, know what is working, what is not working, and that's where you are remote ready. And that's the essence of all these tools. So now, before we go to the question and proper question and answers, I'll conclude with this, right? So being remote ready isn't about using all tools. It is about building the right system. You cannot be subscribing to, Google Workspace that has Excel, and a lot of people do it. I am bored. They tell you, oh, our workspace is Google Workspace. But then when somebody wants to go and create a presentation slide, this person will go to PowerPoint on Microsoft Teams, and there is Google Slide. They do the same thing. And that's because this person is over tooling instead of going deeper. There is Google Excel. There's Google Sheets. And some people would leave it, even after paying for Google Workspace Premium, would go and use Excel. But these are same tool. And that's because some people are actually not going deep. They are over tooling. It's either this or this. Don't over tool. So you're not using all the tools, but it's about, building the right system, using the tool that actually works for you. Then communication, collaboration, scheduling, and execution are your foundation. You want to be ready for a remote team. Have you, done your checklist on what tool am I using for collaboration? What tool am I using for communication? What tool am I using for scheduling? What tool am I using for execution? And sometimes your collaboration tool also falls under your execution tool. So these are your foundation. So now you've understand everything I've mentioned about being remote ready and the collaborative tools that you need to use for you to be remote ready. You have to make it work for you. Then you start simple, stay intentional, and evolve as your workflow grows. Don't be stuck in version 1 of a tool. As it's growing, grow with it. There would always be updates. Make sure you grow with it. Start simple. Don't overtool. I tell people this, it saves cost for you. Then let tools support your creativity, not replace it. I know there's a common saying where people say, oh, let AI or ChatGPT support your creativity, not replace it. Yes, so same thing. Let tools support your creativity, not replace it. It's okay sometimes to, have tools automate a lot of things for you, but then just because there are repeated templates and every other thing, it should support your creativity, not replace it. So these are key takeaways from the session so far. So because we are close to the end of the 1 hour session, right? So before we go to the proper Q&A, where I would also invite everybody to ask proper questions and our answer, um, these are key takeaways you need to take back with you. So remote readiness is intentional. So it's not just working from anywhere, but building systems that support clarity, collaboration, and creativity. So there are 4 pillars that guide effective remote work, which is communication, collaboration, scheduling, and execution, as I've rightly said. And the right fit tools matter, such as tools like Slack, Trello, Google Meet, ClickUp. It helps simplify your workflow when used with purpose. And some persons, they are so lazy and they'll be like, oh, can't we just use our head and then just do this task and every other thing? Why do we need to, like, assign, go through the stress of having to update all of these things on Trello or on ClickUp, when we can easily just, get these things done by ourselves without having to update anywhere? I promise you that is a very big road to failure. Use the right tools, right? Structure unlocks freedom. So the goal isn't to control your time, but to create a space for deep work, creativity, and flexibility. I just mentioned now, people find having to use Trello or ClickUp or management tools or as a problem, because we know what we want to do. Why not just run it express and get it done? But then it's creating an avenue for you to collaborate with people. It's creating an avenue for, deep work, thorough work. When you start listing out your tasks, you tend to see how organized you have become. And also, it also helps grow your creativity, flexibility, and the will to be able to, collaborate with other people. You can review what is done, check if it needs to be revisited, if it needs to be marked as done. It helps, tighten any form of loopholes when it comes to creativity, when it comes to deliverables. You start small, you scale wisely, so build your system step by step. Test tools. Test tools that reflect on what works. Test tools that reflect on what is most suitable for you as a freelancer, as a remote team, or as a founder of a remote team. Test what is most suitable for your business. There are certain tools that you can use for free that you don't have any business with the premium subscription. I said so. Test what is most suitable for your team. So that being said, does anybody have, question, answer? Yeah, question, and I'll be able to, answer your questions. Yeah. Hello.
I don't see any questions in the chat. That must mean everybody understood everything you said. So that's a good sign. But
Okay.
you know, if anyone has any questions, please, now is the time to ask. We have about 10 more minutes left.
All right. Since nobody has any questions, so I would call out names. Am I allowed?
Absolutely. Just don't call mine.
Okay, fine. So yeah, I know David has been very much interactive. I can see him on the chat. Right. So David, are you there? Are you here with us? David Somaye, are you here? Okay, so David is not here with us. So I would go to Silas. Silas, are you here with us?
Well, I have a question. So, and I know this might be out
Yeah,
of the
so
scope of this
Gina is
class,
here.
but okay, go ahead, Sherry.
Okay, I think
And
I can
so
actually see
yeah,
something. All right, go
thank
ahead,
you
David.
so much Deborah, for the insightful session. And it's an eye opener for most of us. And for us that have been using some of these tools, we have a better idea of how best to optimize and utilize some of these tools. And the ones that we're not familiar with, we thank you also for opening our eyes to how we can further use them. So for me, that's I don't have any questions. I enjoyed the class and it was very insightful for me. Thank you.
Okay. So, David, this is my question to you. Yeah. So, I've listed quite a number of tools. So, what tool do you think you would utilize, and also how do you think this tool will benefit your business? Maybe you start with what you do, then we'll go to the tool you think you would utilize. Is it just me? I'm struggling to hear David.
I think basically I will just fully optimize the use of Calendly because that will help me to better fix my scheduling and appointment because I'm into more of emotional intelligence practice. So for those that want to, speak to me or require my services, that would be a better tool for me to schedule my appointments with them. Thank you.
All right, that's interesting to know. So hopefully if we get to meet again and you tell me how well that as that will work for you or is working for you when you start using it. Yeah, so I have some questions on the chat. So do clients expect you to be on camera? Yes, very, very important. And when I'm discussing with clients, I think if I'm not seeing you, you're not seeing me, it's some sort of gap in that communication. And you can't be talking to a client and you want to see you want to see the facial expression of that client. It is very, very important. And that's where you know how best to like address the client, how best to also how best to address the client, and so how best to also convince your client. And that is why for most companies, when you're doing sales, they tell you, you cannot work remotely. And that's because they know the essence of human touch. They know how far human touch can, convince, or what it can actually do. There is power in human touch. Now just imagine I'm having this session with every one of you and my camera is turned off. Something will be missing. It could be how I'm expressing, it could be how I'm demonstrating. All you just hear is voices, or you hear a voice of a woman talking, but you're not feeling the person that is talking. There is no touch. But when you see me interacting with you visually, you can see my face, you can see my movements, you can laugh with me, and you know when I'm serious. So yes, it is common etiquette, right, for you to turn on your video when you're having a meeting with a client. Then what's the difference between Asana and ClickUp? Which is more preferable? The both of them work they do the same thing. They are both project management tools, but ClickUp is much more preferable because it does have more integration features than Asana, and also ClickUp you can also use ClickUp for an organizational wide um, management, that is in between. You can have departments, you can also under departments you can also have projects, and you also have view controls as well. Plus ClickUp is also cheaper to use. Yeah. So I think that's the last question. So does anybody have any question? If you don't have questions, so now what's your contribution? Maybe there is something you want to, say to every other person that is listening. And I don't want to be the only person talking.
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much, Deb, for walking us through all of those tools, and I'm sure everyone picked up something new. I did. So hopefully we can call on you again, and we'll see more of you. Thanks for being a part of the community, and you know, have a good rest of your day. And that goes for everyone else. We do have sessions lined up for next week. The July cohort is still going and going on strong. So we'll, we'll convene again by Friday in the new week. And have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you, Deb.
All right, thank you so much, and it was nice meeting every one of you. And for Ella's Global Talent, I just saw Ella's Global Talent. Okay, hopefully I get to also meet you. And thank you, David Wisdom. It was nice meeting every one of you.
Yes, and we also sign off by
Bye.
saying our hello. We sign off by saying our hello. So we want to hear that from you.
Halo.
Uh-huh. Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.